This is the journey. This is the yeah. Take emotions out of performance or how you think about your performance. You see, when we don't do well, we have a tendency to feel down. I didn't do good. I failed. I missed the penalty. I failed my exam. I didn't get that job. That girl said no. That boy never called me. And all those things are naturally tied to some emotion. And this emotion is disappointment, sadness, sometimes even anger. But we get the emotions involved with our performance because we feel a certain way. And then we hurt, and then we have a negative interaction with that performance. So I say, take emotions out. How do you take emotions out? Well, you have a scenario here that I'm going to describe. You have games. All right? Games. And if you were to break up all of your performances into little games, and then we have the ultimate game, the actual game, whether it be a final, a regular season game, whether it be an exam, or whether it be that moment in the interview room, or you have a chance to perform at work, or this lady is standing in front of you. Game time. Now, there are little mini games that happen before. And if we don't approach these mini games with the right attitude, we will go into the big game with a lot of nervousness, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of insecurity. And even if none of those things exist, you will go into the game with a sort of pensive attitude, tentative thinking, as opposed to naturally allowing your abilities and your knowledge to flow in moments. So these mini games have to be dealt with. How do you deal with the mini games? How do you deal with many losses? How do you frame it, reframe it, contextualize a moment so that we don't have the emotional baggage that is a part of the process? Me as an athlete, you have a tendency, especially as a goalkeeper, we are not allowed a lot of mistakes. Even mistakes that don't directly lead to goals or danger, we remember them. If a pass is an inch off, we remember. If a catch is not clean, it's a big deal. If we miss a cross. So our measurement and tolerance for errors is on a different level than regular athletes or regular players on the soccer field, and then regular people who are not really contextualizing their moments with such high or delicate margins. It would be difficult to persist in a career where you have such small tolerances for performance or good performance or high performance. It'd be very difficult for two things. One, to not be very good, to have a long career, to just be terrible. And two, to not have some framework or mindset to deal with these little mistakes in a manner that does not affect the moments that follow. So here are some things that we goalkeepers think about, or here is how we think about moving forward when it comes to mistakes. Any good goalkeeper will not make the same mistake twice within a year. Let's say if a goalkeeper gets a pass back and it slips under his foot and goes in goal, a good goalkeeper, that will not happen for probably about 4 or 5 years, or probably never again in a serious game if it happened once. Now, it happens to young goalkeepers. It's a part of the thing. It'll happen. It'll happen. If it doesn't happen, you're lucky. It's going to happen. You're going to miss one. And if that doesn't happen, you're going to play one right to the striker. You're going to misclear one. It's going to happen. So the first part of things is dealing with this error with such a precision change, a precision set of actions and mindset, where the focus goes to that error. So it's like a virus. It's like a cut or something on the body, right? Now, if the body has a small cut, the body is going to send resources down to that spot to rebuild, to repair, and to make that area stronger, and able to survive. So one of the things we do is, if you make a mistake in game, and this is at the very highest level, you would deal with it for the consecutive days, next couple of days in training, sometimes right after game. You would go with your goalkeeper coach, one-on-one, you'd have a discussion. And as you move through the rest of your day and your training in the week, you would pay particular attention to two-touch passes, one-touch passes, clearances. Now, goalkeepers, we do standard procedure, 2 touches when we warm up, right? It's about the basic techniques. So we would really spend some more time on banging balls back, and the goalkeeper would slow his mind down and emphasize the details of excellent first touch, eyes on the ball, what a good first touch is, and being aware of the terrain and being ready for the ball moving around. So that's the first thing. Address the error, and address the error completely. Meaning, in the mind, the person is very factual about the performance, right? So the goalkeeper is not going to make any excuses as to why the mistake was made. Never. Goalkeepers never make excuses. You're not allowed excuses. If someone scores a great goal, you better be trying your best to go after it. And if it scores, you could say one or two things. I tried my best. There's nothing I could have done more about it. I was ready and I went after it. It was a great shot. Or two, maybe a better goalkeeper would make that save. So we don't muck about with trying to create frivolous circumstances around why we made an error. So it's a very factual approach to I made a mistake, and there is no murkiness or uncertainty about why or who is to blame. I made a mistake because I wasn't sharp enough, because I wasn't clean enough, because I wasn't paying attention, and it's always because I. So the first thing the goalkeeper does, realize the fact of the mistake and immediately moves in upon it to not have it happen again. Now, the second area of this is proficiency. Within a game, if a goalkeeper makes that mistake, in the first 10 minutes of a game, there is 80 to 85 minutes left to be played in that game, right? So his mindset is going to have to be able to propel him through the rest of the game. Not only just to survive and react, but also to be the inspiration that he needs to be. The goalkeeper is inspiration. It's a solid rock behind there. You got to feel good about your goalkeeper. He's got to communicate. He's got to give great information, good tonality, good timing, general good energy, solid, militant. So they must carry on the work of the goalkeeper even after their ego has taken a hit. So what carries the goalkeeper through? He's not going to I mean, he has to address this mistake in the game. I mean, no real good goalkeepers make the same mistake twice in a game because they wouldn't be called good. So, going through the rest of this game, he knows he's not going to make that mistake, but there is something else that carries the goalkeeper through, and that is proficiency. Right? Proficiency and balance. Let's say a goalkeeper receives a pass back. He mucks it up. It happens all the time. Again, it doesn't have to slip through under the foot. He could take a bad touch. A striker could take it from him. He could slip. He could hit it to a striker, hit it off a defender's back or neck. All right? But let's say he makes that error. This goalkeeper knows that he has in store a variety of tools that would help his team dominate the game. Let's say he's great at crosses. He's got great distribution. His first touch is excellent. He's got a great throw, great reaction, great communication. Sounds like a great goalkeeper to me, all right? So with all things being considered, and we take the whole scheme of things, this goalkeeper is great, and he made an error. So the goalkeeper really leans into how much effort has gone into making very precise his technique. And no one mistake could take those techniques away. Those techniques are instinctive, And a goalkeeper will react naturally. It's almost like a ninja. You get trained to almost be a ninja as a goalkeeper. We use our whole bodies to move about and to be ready and to react. There is so much. So that's like an investor having $100 million and he invested $10,000 into something. And let's say he lost $5,000. He lost half his money, right? It's not a mistake, that would really have him revisiting his methods. It's a drop in the bucket. So similarly, when a goalkeeper makes a mistake, a good goalkeeper, there is so much greatness in store for the rest of the game that it's very easy to move on. Now, shame is something you're going to deal with. This is athletics. This is not just like, writing a poem and putting it out there and nobody really sees it or reads it. This is performance. This is high performance. There's 20,000, 50,000 people in the stadium. There's fans online. There's fans of your team. There's young children watching you play. You got your family watching. Yeah, this is a different order of business when it comes to shame. So we got to deal with that as well. And you got to be able to stand there nice and proud, knowing that everybody's watching you and everybody's thinking about your most recent mistake. It's a real damp moment. It's very difficult to dry off this mistake from goalkeepers. It could ruin a whole season. It could ruin a goalkeeper's career. You make the wrong mistake in the wrong game, you're done. You're done. You can make a mistake and your coach get fired. That happened to me. One mistake against, Dominican Republic? Done. Staff is gone. No more team. So those two things really help us get through, all right? The first thing is, hey, it's a fact. There's no need to get emotional or defensive. There's no need to make a bunch of excuses. There's no need to try to figure a lot out. The mistake was X. It was because of me. So I will address it in training and in my actions. So for the rest of the game, it's going to be real clean and safe. If a goalkeeper makes a mistake with his feet, the rest of the game is going to be clean and safe. The second side of this, again, is leaning on the wealth of skills, the wealth of ability, the wealth of training. You see, this is the thing that is awesome to lean on. The fact that you are so proficient at what you do. And not only proficient is that you're constantly training, you're constantly getting better, you're constantly remaining sharp, and you're sharpest. These two things will really get you the emotional hum. Emotions are natural reactions. It's like goosebumps. It's not really something to wrangle with too much. It's just to watch. And as you watch emotions, they become calmer and calmer. When sadness arises, you watch it. The more you watch things, the more they dissipate into novels and ideas. Like a hungry stomach. We don't fight with hunger. Oh, I gotta get rid of this hunger. I gotta eat. No, it's like, time for dinner. Lovely. We get into routines where we don't even wait until we get hungry. Right? We got breakfast. We got lunch. We got snacks in between. Some peanuts, some almond nuts, some cashews. Maybe some fruits. But similarly, the athlete goes through such routines in training where mistakes don't really have that intense impact on the body, on the mind. So I think as people off the field, we can approach life's trials and how we interact with them. Exams, expectations. Expectations are relative to disappointment. Expect to win, but expect to work hard. Like you should expect to win because of work, not because of any superstition. Yeah, expect to win because of work. Expect to win because you're willing to work harder, to work smarter, to be more prepared. Don't expect to win because of superstition. Don't expect to win because you want to. When you expect to win because of your work and your effort, then you start respecting the opponent. When the opponent makes winning difficult, the win becomes more beautiful. Okay? When the opponent is fighting, and not just fighting, they are angry. Not in a malicious way, but they won't let you come into their house and take a victory. And we want to go in there and take a victory. So they are defending tooth and nail and they're attacking. And they are deeply involved in the process. And so are we. And we've both been training. We both fit. And we're equally matched when it comes to talent. So then it comes down to warfare, digging deep beyond the normal routines of formation and practice and set pieces. You jump into the mindset of warriors. And your body is giving up, but your mind is reaching into the ether. Your mind is reaching into the darkness, into the invisible, to pull from it through adrenaline and other chemicals in the body. The mind is able to reach into the darkness and pull energy, pull speed, pull ideas, pull reaction, intuition. We have such an amazing tool or group of tools here with the body and the mind. Once you get into that state, when the mind is reaching in, something happens. You cannot lose. No matter the score of the game, if your mind is reaching in to the ether to draw on energy and willpower and desire and these sort of things, then the mind is stretching and exercising. And at the end of this game, you should thank your opponent for revealing to you the amazing self that needed to be unlocked through this sort of competition. And as a result, you can't lose. The virtue lies in the effort, not the prize. This is the journey, this is the law.
So boy, you better take it slow.
This is the journey, this is the law.
So boy, you better take it slow.
This is the journey, this is the law.